Okay, so welcome back. This is Icy Cup Railcoon here for Root Gaming's YouTube page. Uh, Today we have Catz versus Destiny on Scrap Station. You should visit us at youtube.com/rootgaming and visit our website at root-gaming.com. Register in our forums. The team members do all pretty much post on that forum, so it's a good place to interact with the members of Root Gaming if you so desire. So Scrap Station is an interesting map for ZVZ. Kind of devolves into banelings early on because it's really hard to defend this ramp with roaches. So starting out roaches is very uncommon in this map. It's not quite as easy as on the other maps. The natural's also pretty far away, so you'll see a decent amount of people dropping a hatch first, because the natural is sort of off to the side and the running distance is pretty long. So it's going to be a little bit tougher for an opponent to punish you with a 12 pool or that type of a thing. Normal builds that people use to try and kill a fast expanding player. So we do see Catz as the red Zerg at 12 o'clock up against Destiny as the blue Zerg at 3 o'clock. So Catz looks like he is going to expand first, sending his drone over here to his natural. Going to drop that hatchery. Destiny appears as if he's going to go pool first, not getting the gas before the pool, so maybe not opening banelings. Big surprise on Scrap Station, as banelings are usually just very common on this map. Get out quick Zergling speed, get them out in front of your opponent's base, do a little bit of Zergling skirmishing, trying not to lose too many Zerglings, and then you morph the banelings pretty close, run them with the ramp, and just go on a drone killing spree. As it's just extremely harder, it's much harder to defend on this map than on others, just because of the wide open ramp. The longer distance means they will be getting there a little bit later, so you have plenty of time to prepare for it. So Catz doing a 16 pool, a 16 hatch, or 14 hatch, excuse me, followed by 14 pool, as Destiny goes 14 pool followed by 16 hatch. So both players trying to get their expansion up pretty quickly. Catz just going faster and going to get drones out a little bit more. Going to be able to produce more Zerglings early on. He is building his gas before Destiny just a little bit. And yeah, so no real initial aggression yet because the gas hasn't finished yet. And on the big map like this, we're not going to see slow Zerglings running back and forth. Both players actually just dropping a Roach Warren. So a little bit actually different play here on Scrap Station. Going for Roach play, as normally I'm used to seeing quite a lot of banelings on this map. But both players are just going to sit back and play a bit more of a macro game in Zerg versus Zerg, which is good for you guys because you don't see Zerg versus Zerg go into macro very often. So this could be an interesting game to watch, more so than just watching some banelings run back and forth. While that can be very fun to be getting all excited and shouting and screaming about the pretty baneling explosions. We will see a little bit more of a different play here between Catz and Destiny. So both players just mining off of one gas at the moment, starting to build some roaches. Catz is producing way more than Destiny. Probably see the players try and move up to layer pretty quickly. Get that speed upgrade, possibly burrow, because if your opponent doesn't spend the 100 gas on an overseer, using that burrow as like burrow micro, like similar to blink micro, like burrowing individual roaches that are getting hurt in the battle, then you can actually do a ton of damage in roach versus roach fights. Would expect players to get overseers out just so that doesn't happen, but a lot of times players try to skip that 100 extra gas, and you're able to do a bit extra damage by doing that. So, waiting to see either player add more gas. There's Catz's second gas finished. He is up to a decent amount of gas. Could see a layer pretty soon from him. Still no queen from him at the natural, but he is doing. He is, falling a little bit behind in his larva at this point, having a bit of a harder time keeping up with that extra larva, and so it's understandable that he hasn't gotten that queen yet. As Destiny lost 2 overlords to the queen of Catz. Bit of a big hit there, as he had to build a lot of extra overlords pretty early on. Catz is going to be moving up to hive to layer tech. Yes, he went straight from hatchery to hive. LOL. But Catz is still pretty far ahead in the roach count, at least for now. Actually, they're up to even, so never mind. But with this layer, he'll be able to get speed, which will help him. His roaches get a better concave, possibly get that burrow, like I said. Finally, actually starts mining off of that extra gas, as he had that up for a decent while. Wasn't actually gathering gas from it. So if you look at the gas income, Destiny is a little bit ahead because he did add his third gas, but he's running quite a bit of extra gas, so like to see that layer from him. There we go. It is going to be significantly later than Catz's, and Catz is going to use this layer for a Spire, actually. So switching into mutas, not too uncommon in Zerg versus Zerg. He's not going to stick on the roach play for too long, and you do see him dropping spine crawlers, which at this point in the game is a pretty decent tell that your opponent is teching to mutas if he starts dropping a ton of spine crawlers. So Catz was going to work on breaking the rocks, but he sees his opponent's doing the same thing, so he's just going to back up and let him do it for him. It's just like, okay, if you're going to go to the effort, I guess I'll sit back and let you do it. Buy himself some time to get this Spire out on the field. Layer is going to be done pretty soon for Destiny. He hasn't been making a whole lot more roaches, so he might be going for a Spire as well. And if he does, Catz could get a couple of Corruptors out in with his Mutalisks, and there'd be no way that Destiny would be able to catch up in the Mutalisk count. So Destiny is actually going to drop an Infestation Pit. Probably for fungal growth. If he's going to do that, probably get Hydralisk Den out. There it is. So he'll be able to fungal the mutas and then drop them with the Hydralisks. If he can get enough Hydralisks out on the field. Catz's Spire does finish. He starts making 5 mutas, stockpiling a bunch of resources so he can continue to crank these Mutalisks out. And both players just sitting back for, the macro game here in ZVZ. Don't see this too often, but it does happen. And, really is going to depend on how much damage Catz can do with these mutas, because if he can't do a whole lot of damage, his ground army is a decent bit behind at this point, as he's going to have less roaches, and Destiny's going to have Hydras backing them up. He does have enough Hydras, enough roaches where the Hydras will be effective. Generally, in Zerg vs. Zerg, if you go for a roach ball, you only get the Hydras once you have enough roaches. That not all of your roaches are going to be able to get in range, so the Hydras standing back and add DPS so that they can't get focus fired. And he is at that number. Catz is moving in with his Mutalisks and doing a bunch of damage, killing the Queen straight up, and then moving in on the drones and going to town on those. Going to do as much damage as he can until the Hydralisks finish. So first several Hydras are coming out on the field. If he focuses them, he probably could kill them, but he'd take a decent number of losses. So he is going to back up. Destiny is working on Burrow and Tunneling Claws for roaches, actually before roach speed. I don't know if that's because of the icon switch, or if he's doing it intentionally. But, Catz picking off as many of these roaches as he can with his Hydralisks or Mutalisks as well. Just going to thin out the numbers as much as possible. Catz is going for Tunneling Claws before speed as well. So maybe just the speed doesn't upgrade the underground movement rate. I thought it did, but I wasn't entirely sure. There we go. It finishes for Destiny, and it will also allow his roaches to heal faster underground as well. He's got a pretty good force of roaches, decent number of Hydras supporting it. Getting a few infestors to back it up as well. So his army's looking pretty well rounded, as Catz is on Roach Muta. Hasn't produced a whole lot more mutas, sticking to just 9 for now. Range upgrade for these Hydras is pretty late for Destiny, but he does have enough where Catz isn't going to want to engage these head-on for a while. Catz going down to the high yield to expand, while Destiny goes for his third base. So if he can get away with that, he will be in a much better position. doing a great job of being super annoying with these Mutalisks. There are not Spore Crawlers in position here. Destiny's going to have to break his own debris, and he's not going to get through in time if Catz actually moves in. So he will kill a couple of drones here. Debris goes down. 2, 3, maybe 4 drones are dead before he has to move out. But nice attack there by Catz, putting some pressure on his opponent. So since both players are kind of sitting back, the timing on this replay is a little bit weird, so I'm actually going to cut it right here, and we'll be back for part 2 in a moment.